be seated. Dear parents, guests, faculty, and of course, the class of 2021. Welcome to Shadow Mountain High School's 45th annual commencement ceremony. Let me begin by thanking the Shadow Mountain Band and Orchestra and their directors, Mr. Natan Simon and Mr. Josh Lynch, for their part in this evening's program. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome our distinguished guests, Mr. Andre Long, Assistant Superintendent of the Paradise Valley Unified School District, and Ms. We are also privileged to have with us tonight our instructional division leaders, Assistant Principal for Instructional Services, Ms. Kathleen Alexander, our Assistant Principal for Student Services, Mr. Mark Smith, additionally, joining us are the selected members of the faculty and staff serving as line leaders. Thank you to all of our dedicated staff members for their participation in the celebration tonight. Now please welcome Senior Asher Fjordy, who will give the prelude.
Give some advice that probably no one should take, by the way. Seriously, I've literally only been alive since 2003. And of course, I'm also here to recognize the class of 2021 for together beating senioritis and making it to graduation. Which is quite possibly one of the greatest achievements of many of our short lives thus far. You know, now that high school is finally ending, and I look around at this campus on my final day as a student here, I'm starting to think of this place. As the prominent poet Roosevelt said, sometimes you will never know the valley until it comes. Enters Royal County 1. Yeah, I know it's pretty ugly, and the campus aesthetic does still kind of give me prison vibes. I mean, really, not one of the classrooms has a single window. But Shadow has never been about curb appeal. It's always been about how we as a community have worked together to polish this place to make what's within reflected on the outside. How from the inside out, teachers and students alike have kept what we have clean and beautiful as best we could. Thank you, SMHS PTC. Hats off to you. Shadow is Shadow is not about perfection. It's about effort. And man, does everyone here give a heck of a lot of it. I know of countless teachers that stay on campus until the late hours of the night, helping out with clubs, sports, theater, or tutoring, and who arrive in the wee hours of the morning before I even roll out of bed to hit snooze on my alarm. Not to mention the many students who go above and beyond to dedicate their time to this place in one way or another, through all those same outlets plus more. So for the second cliche Pinterest quote of this speech, don't judge a book by its cover, because if we did, I'm pretty sure none of us would have gone to this school to discover all that this place has in store. Personally, like this campus, my high school experience was not perfect. In fact, I doubt anyone's was, whether they come from the class of 2021 or the class of 1988. No one escaped acne. But that doesn't matter, because nothing is perfect, and imperfection and failure are the best ways to learn. And there is the preachy advice from the 18. Now, I address all of you down there who are in the same boat as people who wiped our butts for our first 3 years of life. Some of us more than that. We will inevitably mess up, fail, not be perfect, not know what our next step is going to be, what to major in, or what to do with the rest of our lives. And that's okay. But I implore you to keep putting forth that Shadow Mountain quality effort, and it will pay off. Just as a little blue and yellow fish once said, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Thank you so much for your time. Everyone have an amazing night.
Thank you, Asher. Now, please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Shadow Mountain ROTC, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel William Bones, and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by our Voices of Shadow Advanced Choir, directed by Mr. David Weck.
Mark time. Mark. Post. Detail. Halt. Present. Pause.
Please be seated. Before I begin speaking to the class of 2021, it's important to say goodbye to Shadow Mountain High School teachers and staff who will be moving on. Please join me in wishing farewell to Marissa Barnell, Allie Bornhoff, Taylor Foley, Carol Herring, Robin Hayward, William Jones, Tina Marino, Jamie Paget, Greg Pesca, Annie Podolsky, Tina Rao, Kim Rowe, Mark Smith, Sarah Trunzo, and Tia Toll. Thank you for your service to Shadow Mountain High School, and please remember, once a Matador, always a Matador. Dear class of 2021, parents, family, friends, faculty, and guests, usually when I speak at graduation, I center my remarks around the achievements of the graduating class. But this was an unusual year. Yes, we had some triumphs. The class of 2021 racked up nearly $4.5 million in scholarship offers. 6 of our seniors earned the state biliteracy seal. NVAA managed to put on a fantastic spring production that racked up 8 ASU Gamage Theater Awards. There were outstanding performances by dance and orchestra and band and choir. And they finished up by bringing back the Phoenix Fine Arts Fest, which was a huge success. Co-ed cheer won state and placed 3rd at nationals. 12 seniors earned the State Arts Proficiency Seal. Softball had a winning season, and one of the class of 2021 pitched a perfect game. Yeah. And of course, badminton made it to state, led by our seniors. If you think about it, it's remarkable how much you have accomplished considering how challenging your year was. Albert Schweitzer once said that one who gains strength by overcoming obstacles possesses the only strength that can overcome adversity. Class of 2021, a global pandemic robbed you of many of the fun and exciting things you have earned and deserved, but you have demonstrated the strength needed to overcome adversity and triumph in the end. I don't usually tell this story, but when I played lacrosse in college, I had a contentious relationship with one of my coaches. He seemed to enjoy seeing me on the bench when all I wanted to do was get out there and play. I'd sit on the sidelines, waiting for the coach to finally let me in the game. And it wasn't because I wasn't good. I was good. I had probably the most points per minute played on the team, maybe even the league. But I think the coach knew that sitting me on the bench frustrated me terribly. And when I was put in the game, I'd be ferocious. I played with raw emotion, and I would push and score. Then coach would pull me out and sit me on the bench again. It was as though I was in a box that read, "In case of a tie game, break glass." It was frustrating, but I learned something important from that coach. I learned to make the most out of every second that I was on the field. Class of 2021, many of you spent a lot of time on the sidelines this year. Now that we have overcome obstacles, it's time to get off the sidelines and get in the game. I know that missing out on things this year has been frustrating, but it has given you the tenacity and grit to persevere and triumph. Instead of giving up, you made the best of a tough year and did everything you could to finish, making you stronger than you were before. Matadors, many of you have been sidelined all year, and I know that you're frustrated like I was. But take that energy and throw it into each day, truly making every day count. I hope you invest your energy into school and your career like never before. I hope you appreciate time with your family and friends more than ever and cherish every moment with them. I hope you value your health and well-being more, those precious gifts that so many people lost this year. Class of 2021, I hope you get off the sidelines with your energy, love, and zest for life, and it will shock the world when they see your talent and your awesomeness. Matadors, it's time to get in the game. We are all here rooting for you and look forward to seeing amazing things that you will do with your lives. Go Matadors, go class of 2021. It is with distinct pride that I introduce Emily Fry.
All right, thank you, Mr. Appleman. Good evening to the faculty, staff, parents, and students of Shadow Mountain High School. It's an honor and a privilege to have been selected to speak to you tonight. This night is the accumulation of all 4 years of our hard work, our dedication, and our perseverance. Tonight is the close to all the moments and memories made within the halls of Shadow. But while this is quite bitter, I am sure we are all feeling beyond ready for this. I know I personally was done with my senior year the day it started, so. I would like to begin by telling a small story, but I promise to keep it brief. So around July, right before our senior year began, I took a trip with a small group of friends to Sedona, where we were going to go cliff diving. Now, if you know anything about me at all, you know that I am deathly afraid of heights. Like, standing on a chair to change a light bulb, makes me flustered. So I'm sure you can imagine the gut-dropping feeling I had when I stood on the edge of the cliff and looked to the water below. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, trying to find the courage in me to jump off. While I was trying to talk myself into it, another group of people came up as well, and I moved to let them pass. One of the girls must have noticed my hesitation, because right before she threw herself off the edge, she turned to me and said, "Life's mental." At the time, my friends and I laughed because it seemed such a silly and an odd thing to say. We left the cliffs with that one phrase burned in our memories: life is mental. Now, I know this is probably where I should lie and say that I did jump that day, because that would be really cool, but I did not. I chickened out, I climbed down, and I went home. I started online school, and I tried to make the most out of a situation that nobody could have predicted a year ago. And then we came back to school in October, and I remember that everyone was so excited because we were like, oh yeah, senior year is going to be normal again. And then we went back online, and I think that we accepted that this would be one of the craziest, most unpredictable years any of us would ever experience. Throughout the whole process, I was just reminded of what the girl had said: life is mental. Don't get me wrong, it's still kind of stupid and silly to say, but there is a lot of truth to it. Life truly is mental. It's full of unexpected twists and turns. Things will happen to us that will be great, other things will happen, and we'll have to say, wow, that sucked. Now let's get back up and try again. And now here we are, each facing the same cliff. I'm ready to jump, and I know you are too. From here, the world is at our fingertips. From here, the rest of our lives begin. So while we all may have different stories like that to tell, I know there is one constant between us all, and that is growth. Each and every one of us has grown tremendously in the last 4 years. We have discovered a large part of who we are, each year learning bits and pieces about ourselves we did not know before. The cool thing is that we have also gotten to watch others grow with us, and now we have to go into the world and grow on our own. It seems scary, but so did jumping off that cliff 11 months ago. And if there's anything we have learned in this last year especially, it's that we are stronger and we can persevere more than any of us thought we could. And here we are today. So I would like to thank everyone who helped us achieve it. And to the rest of my students, I am beyond proud to stand with you, the graduating class of 2021, and leave with all the hope that each of us will grow into amazing individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Now, our graduation committee member, Emily Fry, will present the senior class gift to Kimberly Guadagnola, student body president-elect for the 21-22 school year.
Okay, so as tradition, the senior class donates a gift to the school. We, the class of 2021, have donated the funds to have the Victory Stadium bleachers painted. We would like to present this gift to our incoming student body president-elect Kimberly Guadnola.
As student body president-elect, I accept this gift from the class of 2021. Thank you.
It is really unusual for us to get the senior class gift before the end of the school year. But if you'd all turn around and look at the amazing job that they paid for and our PTC worked on, it is just incredible. So thank you to everyone who worked on getting our stadium painted. It is my great pleasure to introduce Amber Christiansen.
As Mr. Appleman already spoke about, it's been a weird school year, to understate it a smidge. If you had told me 2 years ago that I'd get to take AP exams from my bed, I would have told you that you were crazy. Many things we took for granted as part of the high school experience were taken away from us, like sports seasons, performances, traditions, assemblies, school lunches, and wearing IDs. While there were a few things we didn't really miss about in-person school, it was still a great disappointment for all students, and especially for us seniors who had such high expectations for this year. On the other hand, we learned some valuable skills as we learned from home, such as making full meals in 6-minute passing periods, getting work done within a minute of midnight, and admiring each other's ceiling fans. When Mr. Ross gave us his annual Matter of Values speech in class, when he said point made, we all got to put point taken into the chat instead of screaming it in the middle of class. There were plenty of weird yet fun moments while we were online, but that's not to say that it wasn't a struggle at times. I am right there with you. I procrastinated, I cried, and I curled up in the corner of my bed to hide from my responsibilities. But it is the kind of person who can take weird and difficult experiences and turn them into opportunities that will succeed in the real world. I'd like to thank every teacher who took the weird situation and ran with it, who took the time to revise lessons and help students far past the time within the school day, and who gave their best to teaching every student despite the manifold difficulties of virtual school. You were our superheroes in the midst of demanding circumstances, and we would be lost without you. And to the class of 2021, perhaps it isn't too bad to experience a weird situation. We're in the middle of one right now. We're all sitting on a football field in robes with squares on our heads, or rather, holding on to them for dear life so they don't fly off into the night and before the next gust of wind. If that's not a little weird, I don't know what is. But wearing these squares is a celebration of all we've achieved throughout our education, and they are a symbol that we're about to step into a new phase of our lives. In order to experience change, we must be a little weird. Martin Luther King Jr. knew the veracity of this principle when he said, "Human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted," or in other smaller words, humanity relies on the weird people to make the needed changes to our world to advance justice and freedom. There are so many examples of people throughout time who did not simply conform to the status quo, but recognized injustices in the world and dared to be a little weird in order to right them. People like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Martin Luther King Jr. changed the world by making a difference, not a similarity. These were people who decided to be weird, to be unusual, in order to serve the noble cause of freedom. It takes people who are weird and different to make changes in the world. So let us embrace the weird experiences we've had and the abilities we've gained this year, because they set us apart from any other graduating class in the history of the world. We are weird, we are different, and we are extraordinary in our abilities to persevere and adapt in the face of catastrophic circumstances. Hopefully, we will not have to use our peculiar ceiling fan admiring skills in the foreseeable future, but we have the power to make lasting change for the better if we apply the unique skills we've learned this year to challenging circumstances to come throughout our lives. Welcome the weird in the world, class of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. We will now have the farewell address by Ella Giles. I'm sorry, I promised that I would mispronounce her name. It's Ella Giles. Student body president, class of 2021.
I had loved ones, teachers, staff, and graduates. There is no doubt that no one pictured our high school graduation to be rolled with face coverings and social distancing. However, did these last 4 years go exactly how anyone planned? I know I came into high school with ideas of straight A's and perfect attendance. I'm sure each and every one of you have at least one memory from high school that you had never anticipated. For many of us, our relationships span longer than just the last 4 years. Some of us met next door at Shea, or even from our days at elementary school. No matter how long we have known one another, we all have formed this indivisible bond, one of understanding, respect, and kindness towards one another. Let us all take a moment to go back in time to a little over a year ago. We were fresh into our second semester of junior year. Nerves of SATs and wondering what we were going to wear to our first prom were all at the front of our minds. It was during this time that for a moment every day, I and the rest of my AP Bio class would start off the period with a discussion that at the time seemed to be nothing more than a way to avoid taking notes during Miss McIntosh's lectures on protons and such. We would see on the projected screen the rapid spread of COVID cases in Wuhan and wonder how it got onto the ASU campus. We didn't believe Miss McIntosh when she said this could put us out of school. Why would we, when we had to take the SAT and we just had to go to prom? We all know how the story goes. We end up taking classes online, staying home, wearing masks, and wondering when we can make it back on campus. We lost the traditions that since freshman year we had waited for. Taking a picture in all black the last day of our junior year, having fun at our last homecoming, cheering on assemblies where we would have won every game, and simply being able to walk the halls knowing we were seniors. However, we still were able to find ways to make this year special. We supported sports from afar, gained enough Instagram followers on the Stugo page to shave and paint Mr. Appleman's head, and even have a beautiful prom. Graduates, we all have made it through high school with circumstances that sound like they were taken out of dystopian teen drama. But as we move into the next chapter of our lives, we carry with us the knowledge that what we have overcome only has made us stronger and more prepared to help us climb the next mountain. I would like to thank our families who have supported us and helped shape us into the young men and women you see before you today. I also want to thank all the teachers who helped us succeed through adversity, not only this year, but all 4 years. And finally, to the staff, who dedicated their time to making our senior year the best it could possibly be. Thank you.
Ella, you forgot one person. Ella is an amazing leader. And without amazing leadership, our student body could not have done as well as they have. So thank you, Ella Giles. Please join me in welcoming the Shadow Mountain Choral Union to sing our musical message this time. Thank you, Shadow Mountain Choral Union and Director, Mr. David Webb. It is my honor to present Corinne Aponte.
Hello. Okay. I cried after my first day of freshman year, not because I was picked on or because the day didn't go as planned, but because I was scared. Afraid at the fact that there was absolutely nothing I knew about high school. Looking back on that memory, I now realize that as a freshman, we were infants taking our first steps through the threshold of Shadow Mountain, becoming the new experiments of class of 2017, oblivious to the drama that whispered through everyone's lips, coupled with the amounts of stress and knowledge some of us simultaneously gained from sitting in class day after day. And of course, at that time, we were unaware of the memories and the lessons that now have stuck with us throughout these past 3 years. I feel as though I can speak for everyone when I say that we would not have predicted that we would be here in the situation we are in today, with the people we now call friends or enemies, as we first imagined as 14 and 15-year-olds collectively. We have lost friends, gained some, lost some again, and then collectively chose to aim the growth towards ourselves throughout the whole process, hopefully finding the definition of what it means when everyone told us to be yourself. Many of us believe that high school is a supposed battle between student and classes, between student and homework, between student and student. But personally, the most valuable lesson that I have taken from my 4 years would be that high school forces the unsolved predicament of students against themselves. Now, don't get me wrong, the endless days of anxiety that surrounded staying up late to complete an assignment or worrying about the friend group that you used to hold so much confidence in might now be wavering, were all battles that seemed endless in our untrained eyes. But it turned out that every battle was met with opposition. And I feel as a class who have been through the Red for Ed strike, our basketball team winning 4 state titles, and then, of course, our senior year being robbed from us by an unforgiving sickness, we were able to persevere through the troubles, one step at a time. One step at a time, exactly like that of a baby when they learn to walk, through the challenges we were forced to overcome or to address. And the moment we started to pick up the pace, when our walk turned into a brisk jog, and when that jog turned into running through leaps of faith, was when we decided to take those lessons, no matter where they came from, and apply each principle to ourselves. We focused from societal expectations to that of personal expectations. And with this in mind, looking back on ourselves as individuals, many of us have suffered heartbreak, whether it be from a love completely bombing a geometry test because all you did was sleep through 2 weeks of the class, or depression induced by our own personal shortcomings. And we began to run when we acknowledged our personal struggles, and when we chose to forgive ourselves, and recognize the fact that high school is actually the absolute perfect time to fail and to hurt. It is so much easier to lose a love in junior year than any other time because you will have the love from your closest friends bring your spirits up. So much easier to fail that damned geometry test now than having to fail a career-defining project in the future. And so much easier to understand the fact that as teenagers, we are bound to make mistakes, do absolutely asinine things that make our parents question our existence, than to carry that burden into the next stages of our adult life. A gift that seems so universal, but the fact of the matter is that even though we are seniors, 18-year-olds, and now adults, I know, cue the sad music. We have learned that each and every one of us are different, and thus have found our own way to grow. Some of us chose through academics, through sports, through the arts, through social encounters, but all in all, we have chosen to take it, an area to take a lesson from, and that is significant. Whether the people around us have recognized it or not, we recognize it, and we take it with us after high school to wherever we may go. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne. I would now like to present McKenna Staley, President of the Class of 2021, and Sophia Jacoby, Student Body Vice President, Class of 2021, for the concluding statement.
Thank you for, oh, this wind is ruining the vibe. Okay. Thank you everyone for all those beautiful, well-written speeches.
You each managed to sum up our year perfectly. And yes, high school may be over, but now it's time to take control of our futures and make the world our own.
Who knows? Maybe the next Adam Sandler, Lady Gaga, or even the next David Appelman is sitting among us.
Big Papa!
These past few years at Shadow Mountain have been filled with all different kinds of memories. Some that we'll cherish forever, and others we may want to forget as soon as possible. But no matter what kind of high school experience you may have had, the only thing that matters now is that it's over, and that you're sitting here today.
And don't try to belittle this achievement, because I know for a fact that each and every one of you worked as hard as you could to get these diplomas, and you should all be extremely proud of yourselves.
Although this chapter in our lives is coming to its inevitable end, the important thing to remember is that you were able to get through it relatively unscathed, and that if you can get through high school, you can probably get through just about anything.
Before we wrap up our concluding statements, we would like to finish on these words. There can be 100 people in the room, and 99 don't believe in you, but you only need that one to change everything. And with that, Matadors, put those hands together.
Here comes the one and only, beautiful, talented, graceful, stunning, genius, iconic, Mr. Appelman.
God, I'm going to miss this class. Thank you, McKenna and Sophia. Mr. Andre Long, it is my pleasure to present to you the class of 2021. The students seated before you have met all the requirements for graduation set forth by the Paradise Valley Unified School District and the state of Arizona.
Uh-oh. Let's see. On behalf of the Governing Board of the Paradise Valley Unified School District, I accept the class of 2021 and award each of them a high school diploma.
Mr. Long and Ms. Brown, would you please assist in the awarding of the individual diplomas to our students as our readers, Mr. Michael Steinkemper and Ms. Laura Packard, call their names. We would like to remind our graduates and guests that every parent would like to hear their graduate's name called. We ask that you be courteous and remain seated until the end of the ceremony. Thank you. First row.
Corinne Ann Aponte.
Marcan Joseph Emeka Amachi.
Amber Lynn Christiansen.
Isabella Marie Harnett.
Emily Noel Fry.
Nisreen Alatrash.
Asher Elizabeth Furedy.
Bradley Griffin Anderson.
Ella Katrin Giles.
Emily Anderson.
Sophia Paris Jacoby.
Theo Anos.
McKenna Elizabeth Staley.
Jacob Paul Appleman.
Len Earl Ackland Jr.
Miriam Akrawi.
Emily Coral Aguirre.
Ashley Faye Arredondo.
Jaime J.R. Arredondo Aguilar.
Brandy Arredondo.
Miguel Jonathan Ayala.
Darian Faith Bullock.
Tatum Janae Barker.
Ashley Lynn Buser.
Jesse Anthony Barron.
Kian Dane Butso.
Cynthia Melissa Biaz.
Jaron Elliott Calhoun.
Cassidy Nicole Becker.
Reese Calvin.
Anthony Jesus Belamonte.
Diana Campbell.
Matthew James Blood.
Javier Cabrillada.
Caden Lee Broadwater.
Liana Ernestina Castellon.
Catherine Arlene Cernich.
Addie Elise Davis.
Maya Dauphin Channer.
Matthew Scott Davis.
Madison Brooke Clanton.
Kiara Marisol de la Cruz Sierra.
Jordan Rose Clark.
Dylan Michael Delegans McCann.
Elijah Ishmael Cole.
Jackson Makunda Denon.
Braden Glenn Conroy.
Kaya Sofia Devoe Dansur.
Elsa Cruz Morales.
Allison Gentry Dick.
Silvana Patricia Davies.
Elizabeth Diaz Vera.
Alexander Octavio Davila.
Michael Anthony Dreckman.
Landon Nicholas Frank.
Samuel Edward Drobny.
Tierney Emmons.
Anthony Gallardo Lopez.
Camilla Elizabeth Esquilar.
Jesus Manuel Garcia.
Cameron Judith Evans.
Gabrielle Vera Marie Garreau.
Davin James Everson.
Marley Addison Gartzman.
Heather Brooke Farmer.
Riley Porter Axelrod.
Noah William Farrell.
Shayna Lee Glavinsky.
Elian Lee Freed.
Stephanie Gomez Hernandez.
Madeline Louise French.
Maya Rose Godot.
Stephanie Ann Gallenbush.
Evan Claude Graber.
Dylan Joseph Grace.
Perry Ray Hawkins.
Lori Vernell Griffin.
Haley Marie Hazen.
Litzy Priscilla Guillen Gerardo.
Yasmin Marie Heddingsfield.
Gabrielle Marie Golden.
Peyton James Hepting.
Erdem Hylab.
Kylie Claire Higgins.
Mina Hope Hall.
Ashton J. Hilliard.
Benjamin Halverson.
Deborah Lark Hokinson.
Angelica Shiloh Hahn.
Trevor James Howell.
Jace Lee Jaycox.
Aurelia Danae Hutchinson.
Isaac Martin Johnson.
Tatum Alyssa Ives.
Kyle Monroe Johnson.
Ashley Michelle Lambert.
Janae Imelda Jordan.
Ariel Sine Lavignon Lang.
Avijit Singh Jutla.
Lorianne Lavecchio.
Lourdes Maria Ortiz Kennard.
Elliot Jaden Ledbetter.
Caitlin Jean Koistinen.
Sadie Ashlyn Lee Johnston.
Kylie Joy Koistinen.
Lawrence Elliott Lennon.
Alexander Lassen Kashurkis.
Ephraim William Lewis.
Sophia Lacosta.
Audra Aurora Lindquist.
Sophia Victoria Loam.
Carly K. Meyer.
Michelle Anaí Luque Morales.
Sila Malero.
Zane Daniel Mallory.
Jackson Conrad Mockery.
Jacob Aaron Marquez.
Sebastian John Mulla.
Samantha Lee Martanovich.
Ryan Anthony Moore.
Jacob Thomas McCabe.
Sage Dylan Motley.
Hannah Elizabeth McIntarfer.
Odeja Janae Narcisse.
Sebastian Nathaniel McGinnis.
Jordan Virginia Ochoa.
Treasure Christian McNeil.
Jason Cole Parent.
Molly Elizabeth Marie Polk.
Echo Lincoln Passy.
Cole Christopher Payne.
Benjamin Edward Prince.
Ethan William Peacock.
Liliana Quiroz.
Nicole Ann Pelopita.
Blair Noel Rawlings.
Zulema Leslie Perez.
Ayla Joe Raimondo.
Xavier John Peters.
Michelle Rios Gonzalez.
Zoe Ann Peterson.
Simone Rios Kropidlowski.
Kento William Phelan.
Elizabeth Ann Roy.
Keyshawn Porter.
Christian Kelly Ray Royce.
Liliana Jane Prill.
Olivia Catherine Santallanes.
Gavin Matthew Rubin.
Jordan Elizabeth Schaefer.
Shatiana Sky Rucker.
Haley Capri Schweitzer.
Martin Fernando Reyes Ponce.
Rhiannon Margaret Short.
Alexis Ruiz Soto.
Carlos Emiliano Sierra Cepeda.
Ariana Jean Rousset.
Alexa Whitney Sigston. We'll get it.
Destiny Marie Rutgers.
Joseph Ryan Simonson.
Nakaya Desiree Salas.
Kennedy Catherine Skiba.
Julieta Sanchez.
Davion Rashad Smith.
Juliana Laurent Sandoval.
Mason Lee Smith.
Riley Jean Smith.
Benjamin Roger Talon.
Monica Soto Solorio.
Jacob Andrew Tiffany.
Callie Suzanne Spitsky.
Sarah Madeline Triplett.
Alicia Grace Stanley.
Sofia Vargas Rubio.
Catherine Ann Stevens Thomas.
Anthony Michael Vassar.
Clint Lee Sturmer.
Geraldine Yvette Villalobos Banuelos.
Alyssa Marie Stewart.
Hannah Christine Watson.
Kaylee Michelle Storms.
Morgan Lynn Welsh. Whoa, this is getting to be a lot.
Kara Brooke Super.
Logan James West.
Olivia Jean Tate.
Nathan Russell Hicks.
Anthony Zavala Moharding.
Bryn Janae Isiri Ramos.
Jason Michael Tate Wren.
Isabella Rose Johnstone.
Nathaniel Allen Wiggs.
Michael Eric Marr.
Emily Beth Williams.
Liana Zoe Scow.
Cameron Page Williams.
Caitlin Yakubov.
Madison Page Williams.
Blake Anthony Yanito.
Shia Latisse Williams.
Carl Joseph Zeisler.
Braden Gabriel Wilson.
Brayla McCaden Steed.
Nora Adina Young.
Class of 2021, please rise. Move your tassel from the right side to the left side. You are now officially graduates of Shadow Mountain High School. Congratulations. This concludes our graduation exercise. Thank you for coming. Congratulations, class of 2021.